Calgary Flames forward Andrew Mangiapane is the latest flame in the trade rumor mill as a new report has revealed that Mang is unlikely to sign in Calgary at the end of his contract. So why does this bring up the trade rumor mill? Well, it'll make Conroy do what he's done in the past with every other UFA and try and trade him away for as many assets back as he can and not let anyone walk away for nothing. But before we break all of that down, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I am Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all of the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. So much love going around. I love you so much. Let's dive into Arrivederci Mangiapane. No, I am not Italian, but that was my best attempt at speaking the beautiful language from the Mediterranean, of course. And it looks as though the Flames will be saying bye-bye to Andrew, as I like to call him around here. I haven't messed up and said that recently, but it's still a meme on the channel. Andrew Mangiapane. Let's get in. Here's a little tweet from the win column report. Andrew Mangiapane may not be keen on re-signing with the Flames once his contract expires after 2024-25. So he is under contract for next season. As we know, his name has come up a couple times here and there in the trade rumor mill, talking about maybe some potential suitors for him. But now we have a really good report here. And I mean, as you can see right there, it is from the win column. So here's the report itself. Andrew Mangiapane unlikely to re-sign, likely to be dealt before next year's trade deadline. And this one, once again, from James Johnson. All credit due to him of the win column. Let's dive in. A source tells the win column that Andrew Mangiapane is unlikely to re-sign with the Calgary Flames. Thus, he's very likely to be traded before next year's NHL trade deadline. I mean, we know that's the Conroy way. We don't let anyone walk for free. Let's trade him, try and get something back. There is a possibility he will even be dealt sometime this summer, depending on the level of interest. So there you go. His name is out there. It's official. He is in the trade rumor mill. No, hopefully it won't be as crazy of a saga as the one is for Jacob Markstrom. But Mang, he's out on the trade block. And I think a lot of teams could at least ask what the price is for a man like Mangiapane. We've seen in the past that on a good team, he can be quite dependable, can put up some goals, and can add some underlying stats that are quite nice. I think he'd be a fit on almost any contender. They would love to have a player like him. So let's talk about a trade suitor. Now, I think a couple weeks ago now it is, but I did make a video on some trade suitors for Mang. It included the Blackhawks, the Islanders, and I believe it was the Capitals as well was in that video. That's a little while ago now. I'm sorry that I can't remember exactly who it was. But I think it makes more sense for an actual contender to go after him, as they'll be more likely to want NHL ready players now, whereas the Flames are more in a spot where, hey, give us some picks, give us some prospects. We are happy. I think a lot of Flames fans out there would be willing to give up Mangiapane in order to acquire something for the future. So if we continue the article here, a look into Mangiapane and why he could be an interesting candidate. So before we get into the actual trade suitor, let's just look at his candidacy here. Let's look at the resume, shall we? The 28-year-old winger just wrapped up his 7th season as a Flame. He's already been here for 7 seasons. Wow. Drafted 166th in the 2015 NHL draft, Mangiapane has been a fan favorite for several seasons as he continued to improve year over year. He really popped in 2021-22, where he had 35 goals and 55 points in 82 games. That was convenient for Mangiapane and his camp, as he was in line for a new contract that following summer, and he got paid. Apart from his career season in 2022, Mangiapane trends out as about a 20-goal, 45-point winger. Like I said, pretty dependable. Some pretty bog standard stats, but we know what he's all about. He will no doubt have trade interest, especially if the Flames retain on his $5.8 million cap hit. How classic Flames is that one of our players plays out of his mind in his contract year and gets absolutely paid and then doesn't want to play here anymore. I don't know how official it is. I haven't heard from the source itself that Mangiapane isn't interested in playing in Calgary, but if the win column has received that report through an insider source, then fair enough. Note, Mangiapane does hold an 8-team no-trade list, Mangiapane had a great result playing for Team Canada at the World Championships, scoring 7 points in 10 games. A team that jumps off the page as trade destination for Mangiapane is the Carolina Hurricanes. You saw it all in the thumbnail of this video, but they do make sense as a pretty good trade suitor. They are a team who has not been able to get over the hump in those Eastern Conference playoffs. They've made the Eastern Conference final quite a few times over the past decade or so. They've gone to the second round, a couple of times, and they just haven't quite been able to put it all together. And Mangiapane, am I saying he is what will get them over the hump? No, of course, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, look, the Hurricanes, they might lose a few pieces. We've heard of the Marty Necas trade rumors going around. I have tried my hardest to not focus a whole video on him because almost everyone in the Flames media is talking about Marty Necas right now. If he's on the go, Mangiapane might be a replacement. Could that be a trade in itself? Potentially. But one thing I do want to look at real quick here, as we kind of looked at some of his career year stats, was his stats from last season, because that is what is most relevant, what is most important here. So he played in 75 games this past season and got 40 points, a little bit better than a point every other game. Just the 14 goals, nowhere near his career year of 35 goals overall, but he did have a positive plus minus on a Flames team that ended definitely in the negatives as a team. And, his underlying numbers were quite good on that line with, of course, Coleman and Backlund. We love them as a line, but I think a lot of Flames fans, again, would be willing to break them up for some future assets. Again, the Corsi for percentage above 50 there, that's what you're aiming for as well. And, he's not the biggest guy, but he's kind of entering those prime years of his career. So that's kind of what he's been after this past season. Again, not the worst numbers on a Flames team that really ended up being not all that good, especially on a line that focused more on defense than offense. We know what he can do. Carolina could use a player like him. Carolina's more of a defensive team. Mangiapane fits in very well. Maybe he's a Rod the Bod kind of player. I guess we will just have to see. But what do we care about the most here in the Sea of Red? Well, we care about the return for Calgary, of course. Now, it's interesting because Mangiapane after this past season probably won't fetch all that much, especially with his high salary cap. The Flames would probably likely have to retain if they are to deal him in the summer. If they let him carry on with the Flames throughout the season at the trade deadline, maybe something else will work out. Obviously, we'll have to see who is good and is contending at that time. Who knows? Maybe the Flames will shock the world and they will be that team. But before we can kind of decide what a return might be for Calgary, we kind of have to analyze what his trade value is. So let's take a look here from the article once again. Mangiapane is a success story for Calgary. For the Flames, Mangiapane was a great success story with the organization. He came up and played on one of the most entertaining and effective fourth lines in recent Flames memory. Then he continued to improve and elevate further up the Flames lineup. His tenacious play, some people say, play and complete oh my gosh, I lost it after trying to say a word twice. His tenacious play and compete level have helped him become a player that coaches rely on and trust in all areas of the ice. We all remember that fourth line. It was so fun in the 2019 season. It was Mange with Derek Ryan and Garnet Hathaway as well. Two players that have moved on. Maybe it's Mangiapane's time as well, but that was really, really fun. And he kind of showed what he was worth, especially defensively. Now to continue, Mangiapane has been an impressive middle six winger, posting some excellent underlying results. Playing with Backlund and Coleman proved to be a great combination, as the trio has been one of the best lines in the NHL in terms of underlying numbers in recent seasons. Underlying numbers, just say it. It means defensive. It's kind of funny how that's used in the hockey community. But so we know that he's worth something. Maybe his offensive numbers don't pop, but his defensive numbers do. So what can the Flames get back? As for a trade return, I, as in James Johnson, would imagine something around a second-round draft choice or equivalent, especially if he comes with retained salary. Some comparables. Riley Smith was dealt from Vegas to Pittsburgh at this time last year for a third-round draft pick. I would argue Smith, who had just come off a Stanley Cup championship, is worth more than Mangiapane is right now, or was worth more than Mange is right now. Anthony Mantha was dealt from Washington to Vegas at this past deadline in exchange for second and fourth round draft picks. Vladdy Tarasenko was dealt from Ottawa to Florida for third and fourth round draft picks, with the condition that the fourth rounder upgrades to a third if the Panthers win the Cup. I really, well, By the time this video comes out, maybe they have. I'm recording this before game time on Tuesday. I know this is coming out on Wednesday. Hopefully, I mean, fingers crossed, Florida's won the cup by now, but we'll just have to wait and see. But either way, it is true. So Mangiapane, we could be looking at about a third-round pick, especially if there is retained salary involved. If not, maybe a fourth. I think the Flames should shop around, see what they can get the most of. No way he's going for a first-round pick. Maybe a second with quite a bit of retention. I guess we'll just have to see. But let's aim for a third-round pick, if not a fourth. That is pretty much what Mange is worth if he truly is unlikely to sign and will walk away for nothing. Then Conroy can trade him away. Now let's get into the comment of the day. Hopefully I got the technology right for this one. On the previous video, we had some major technical issues, but hopefully that has been resolved now. So let's hop right in. I really like this comment from user Evan Fraser 9805. Sure hope the Flames give Sam Morton a look for the first bit of the season. Maybe he can even play his way into a spot in training camp. Dude has a nose for the net, need more guys like him, and that is absolutely true. So this comment obviously comes from the video about some players who are kind of in make or break seasons. Morton is not one of those guys. He's a guy who the Flames should just give a good opportunity to, and he could be really good. He was amazing out of college and was really good for the Wranglers in his limited amount of time. You can expect guys like Lipinski, Honzek, Brustevich to hopefully also get some big chances, and in no way are they near make or break deals, but they could be really good players for the Flames in the future. And whether they get that opportunity this upcoming season or further in the future, it will come. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you like what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.